Welcome to the Practicing Maker. Having accepted the compulsory election of majority as a democratic system decrees, the next step towards peaceful coexistence or cohabitation in civilian society, or what is expected by polite diplomacy, is a tolerance to the orgiastic confluence of dissonant opinions, commentaries, information, knowledge, creeds, speeches, namely the vast and weighty influence of discourses reproduced at a steady pace by scientific articles, papers, monographs, audiovisual means, without losing or knocking out cosmopolitan vision. A great deal of ism is scattered around the global world, which differs exceedingly on how to solve problems or setbacks, where in some geographical regions the act of writing is relegated by the act of hearing and seeing. In others, the vulgarization of prejudices and stereotypes is putting up despite that we are looking forward to perceiving the good news. By preserving the epistemic and ethical values, progress will partly have two main democratic behaviors: an act of sincerity, like Virginia Woolf claimed for an essayist in The Decay of Essay Writing, and the act of compassion with ourselves and others based on any religion's creed, atheism included, philosophical view or ideology. The first must also diminish the presence of cynics, whose founder, Diogenes of Sinope, stated the acclaimed sentence: Aristotle breakfasts when it pleases the king, Diogenes when it pleases Diogenes. The second has to struggle the galvanization and pulverization of cultural identities, with categories white, black, brown, round-eyed, narrow-eyed, etc., shaping conducts, as thinking Africa as a country a colossal repercussion of oversimplification, or America as a continent where the multifaceted Latin American cultures are eroded, present in quotidian conversations. At the core, simplifying manners by excluding analytic description of situation easier in the cause, to stupefy by provoking deterioration in critical attitudes, and a broader range of infirmities whose significant purpose is to reside in the excellence, inferring this as a fitted or attuned to the subject on moral issues, exposes failures in postmodern educational systems in countries where the assessment has shown detrimental aspects of cognitive agents carefully and painstakingly embedded in the intellectual establishment, which depicts in this occasion a set of notions and methods of hooking up them concerning to supply the market demand and political movements associated with them, without disentangling any distinction between democratic or totalitarian regimes. It would be innocent of us to ponder our standpoint as independent, our decision-making process as a sheer, uninterested, uncompromised, and an impartial politeness stick, because every cognitive agent that takes the epistemic liability of living is endowed with a political background and framework, even though when it is incoherent, irrational, counterproductive for themselves. Furthermore, at first glance, a protracted firmness that the human condition does not need epistemic values harbors an unarmed retaliation against preservation, on the brink of founding an enforceable formulation employing guarding and shattered words of traveling, promiscuous and simplicial statutes. The unspoken volunteering of transforming the political reality of decadence hangs over at the cost of being misrepresented and misunderstood. A close and urgent solution, avoiding piping clumsy caperings, bacchanals, or some of the sort. Albeit trumpeted by nostalgic waves of economic attainment, the summoning of worst-case scenarios, even when it hosts innumerable quandaries, stick out over unmanned because there is a recursive reminiscence, a vicious regression which could differ or not of infinite regression. Encompassed by unsubtle and non-rigorous logical machinery forcing the long-running procedural cursory, a piecewise degradation initiates with the social disapproval of the vitality of knowledge. In this respect, a tedious and burdened society, mistrustful and tittering, does not see a glimpse of hope due to the deficiency in critical thinking skills. Additionally, tertious sentimentalism posits the grammatical fountain of political speeches under scrutiny, at the mercy of eventual reputable collective acquiescence, which leaves unworthy attempts of self-regard as barbarism. Notwithstanding, witty reactionaries will portray elegant and chaste ores of bigotry coming about from their unstained conservation of affability for public affairs, persevering in the vivid and rhythmic dispute on consecrating hand-dog look to those who do not reserve in their consideration any human trait, in giving credence to the demystification of fetishism in social practices related to the fecundity of immoralities. It bulges out a resplendent vicious circle, inalienable to human nature, enclosed by a perturbed and dismissive set for unrelenting judgment inflicted on flattering opponents. The extreme disdain and severity for those who deploy exaggerated and charismatic repulsiveness towards political figures never known in introspective details likewise applies to any person, but the credentials of politicians are wasted easily in common opinions because of their remunerated public service. It is a sign of as much fanaticism or proselytism as the ethical opposition in impecunious fashion, catapulted by controversial but at the same time inspirational leadership. The iconic personage of recent world history like Nelson Mandela. He served as the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, and he was the country's first black head of state, the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. Angela Merkel, who served as the Chancellor of Germany from 2005 to 2021, and was the first woman to hold that office. Obama, he was the first African-American president in U.S. history. And Thatcher, she was the longest-serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century and the first woman to hold the position, configure a seductive charge on geopolitical decisions in terms of each autodetermined sovereignty. In conclusion, there was and is a battle jeopardized by desolation and hijacked by fear, obstructing any human advance, described as uncomfortable events by Angela Merkel's freedom, Obama's A Promised Land, before by Mandela's long walk to freedom, and Thatcher's path to power and Downing Street years, his and her autobiographical books, where they reveal the work behind the socialist scenes, with dissimilarities in goals, methods, and achievement. Thank you very much for joining us. We were with you. The script and voiceover, Juan Eduardo Reluz Machicote. Sound and image, Jessica Francesca Garcia. Direction, Griselida Reluz Chafloque. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found some valuable insights. Remember to stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop learning. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Cheers!